We're going to talk about endangered species. And there's a lot of links you can use for looking at endangered species. But first thing we're going to do is we're going to do some differentiation between some terms. So extinction has always been happening. Extinction means gone forever, gone from the earth. And there is a background extinction rate of about one species per 1 million species per year. Again, it's an estimate. Current extinction rate is believed to be between 100 to 1,000 species per million species. So you can see those percentages. It's much, much higher. So we're seeing a much greater extinction rate, which is why people say we're in an extinction crisis. Why are we concerned then? We're concerned because, again, that rate of extinction is so much higher. There are different types of extinct. There's commercially, there's ecologically, there's biologically extinct. We're not going to really worry so much about those, but bottom line is, again, maybe they can't do their role in the ecosystem. They're not commercially profitable. But again, biologically extinct, the species is completely gone. And that's going to be our main focus for this class. Species that tend to become extinct are species that are a specialist with a very narrow range of tolerance or a small realized niche. Often we find those as endemic species. Endemic species tend to just live in one place typically, so they have a very specific way of life, and those tend to be more vulnerable to extinction. Generalists, if they can live in a variety of circumstances, are less vulnerable to extinction. So here are again our definitions. Extinct is gone. Endangered, very few survivors that the species could easily become extinct. And threatened or vulnerable, it's still abundant in its natural range, but it's declining. Its numbers are declining, which raises some concern. If you think about it in terms of grades in a class, extinct, the semester is ended and you failed. You're extinct, you're done. The class is done. Endangered, you're failing the class, but the semester isn't done. So there's things you can do to bring yourself back up to passing. And so that would be endangered. So you're in danger of failing, but you haven't failed. It is not done yet. Threatened, you maybe have a C in the class, but you had an A and then you messed up and then you are a B and now a C, and your trend is downwards. And so then maybe your parents are getting frustrated with you and like, you're in trouble, you're not doing well. And you're like, hey, I still have a C, I'm still passing, but the trend is downward. And so they're concerned. That's what threatened means, is really they're looking at the trends and they're seeing trends are going down, and they're concerned that if things don't change, you could become, or a species could become endangered, and eventually extinct. So that's a kind of the analogy that I use for those three different types of species. Examples of extinct species, the passenger pigeon, the Carolina parakeet. And the passenger pigeon, they said, were so abundant that the sky, when flocks of them would fly overhead, would actually turn dark. And that this picture here actually shows so many of them were killed. So humans did a lot to make them go extinct. Endangered species like the wood stork or the gray seal, there's a chance that they'll become extinct. They're endangered, so it's not looking great for them. And threatened species like the polar bear or the olive ridley turtle, they're threatened. Their numbers are on the decline, but still their numbers are decent at this point. So that is different species and examples of those different species. So what causes the loss? Actually, we're going to just stop there for that page.